Are you struggling to understand the event structure when your AWS Lambda function is triggered by an S3 bucket? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into how to handle S3 bucket trigger events in Lambda using Python. I totally get it. It can be incredibly frustrating when you're trying to set up a trigger and you can't find the documentation you need. Many developers have faced this same challenge, and it can feel like you're searching for a needle in a haystack. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked, "What is the structure of the event when my S3 bucket receives a put trigger for AWS Lambda?" They mentioned looking in the S3 console, but couldn't find the information they needed. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So, what exactly is happening when an S3 bucket triggers a Lambda function? The event structure contains vital information about the object that was uploaded, including the bucket name and the object key. Understanding this structure is crucial for your Lambda function to work correctly. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a handy resource that will make working with S3 events in Lambda a breeze. To understand the structure of the event when an S3 bucket triggers a Lambda function, the user should first familiarize themselves with the event format. This format is defined in the AWS documentation. Next, the user should look at a sample event structure. This will help them visualize what the event looks like when an object is uploaded to the S3 bucket. After reviewing the sample structure, the user should implement the Lambda function to handle the event. They can access the bucket name and object key from the event data. Finally, the user should test their Lambda function by uploading a file to the S3 bucket. This will trigger the Lambda function and allow them to verify that it processes the event correctly. Fun fact, did you know that S3 stands for Simple Storage Service? It's anything but simple when you're trying to figure out the event structure, right? Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggested by a user is to experiment with the S3 bucket and Lambda integration. They recommend creating a bucket and a Lambda function that triggers on put events. By following these steps, you can easily view the event structure in the logs, which is quite self-explanatory. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests referring to the official AWS documentation for the event message structure. They recommend visiting a specific URL to find detailed information about the S3 bucket trigger event. Here's that handy resource I promised. AWS provides detailed documentation on the event structure for S3 triggers. Bookmark it for future reference. And there you have it. You now know how to handle S3 bucket trigger events in Lambda using Python. Remember, understanding the event structure is key to making your functions work seamlessly. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.